Design and Technology. With me, Enoch Kasongo. We are looking at joints, different types of joints. We are still looking at joints. Last time we met, we still defined what a joint is. We said a joint is simply a device that can be used to join two or more materials together. A joint is simply a device that is used to join two or more materials together. These materials can be of wood, can be of metal, can be of plastic. So in this case today we are going to look at framing joints. On framing joints, under framing joints we are going to look at a bridal joint. We are going to look at a bridal joint. So at the end of this lesson, I expect you to be able to identify the right tools to mark a bridal joint, to be able to select the right tools in order to make this bridal joint. Apart from that, I expect you to describe what a bridal joint is and the different parts of the bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, before we look at the tools that you need to make and mark this type of a joint, let us look at how does this bridal joint look like. So this is a bridal joint. Okay, so the other name for a bridal joint, it is also called the open mortise and tenon joint. The other name for a bridal joint is called an open mortise and tenon joint. Why do they give us this name? Let us look at how the bridal joint looks like. So a bridal joint looks like this. So when you're doing a freehand, get the rules from pictorial views. From isometric drawing, we have these rules. So you draw under the same rules of isometric drawing, like that. When you're satisfied to say these lines are okay, you don't have to bother to rub the construction lines, because these are lines that will help you to draw the drawing that you need to draw. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So from there, it's supposed to be like that. Okay? So when you're satisfied, you can now outline your work. When you're satisfied to say what I've drawn is okay, you can outline your work. Like that. Okay? There is a tenon. Then now you come to the pins. Okay, there you are. Okay. Like that. So whenever you draw your drawing, do not forget to put the annotations. These will show to say this type of material drawn is made out of either wood, metal, or even plastic or rubber. So don't forget to put the annotations. These symbols will show whoever is seeing your drawing when you're not present to say this person was making this out of wood or metal. So when you do your drawing like that, show your end grains there. Show your end grains. Show your end grains there. Okay, so when you draw your drawing, when you are done, then this is a bridal joint. If you wish, you can call it a bridal, but in my case, I'll call it a bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes.
Then, when you look at this joint, it has parts similar to that of a mortise and tenon joint. But what you're going to realize is that this one, it has a through space here. Unlike a mortise, which is has just a mortise there. So this one has the mortise that is open, hence called an open mortise and tenon joint. But if you so wish, you can still call it a bridal joint. So, what are the different parts of this type of a joint? What are the different parts of this type of a joint? What do we call this part? Yes, Kelvin.
The shoulders.
The shoulders, very good. So these are called the shoulders. Like that. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So if these are called shoulders, then what do we call this part? Yes, Manjaj?
The tenon.
Tenon, very good. So this is called a tenon. Like that. This is called a tenon. So in this case, we also have this part. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
What do we call these two parts? What do we call these two parts? Are we together? So these two parts are called the pins or opening mortise. Pins or opening mortise. This part that you are seeing here is the opening mortise. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then from there, we need to look at the tools which are used to mark this type of a joint. What are some of the tools needed for you to mark this joint? Okay? So we come here to select all the tools. Okay, so what are some of the marking out tools that you need to mark this type of a joint? Yes, Henry.
Tri-square.
A tri-square, very good. So here you need a tri-square. This tri-square, I will need this tri-square to mark this line here. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Apart from this line, I also need this tri-square to mark this line across the grains. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which tool do I need for me to mark this line on top? And of course, this one there. Yes, wow.
Mortise gauge.
A mortise gauge. Very good. So here you need a mortise gauge. Here you need a mortise gauge. So gauge, what tool can replace this mortise gauge? Yes, Favor.
A marking gauge.
A marking gauge. So apart from this, you can still use a marking gauge. Are we together? Okay. Apart from the tri-square mortise gauge, what other tool do you need? Yes, Manjaj.
A carpenter's pencil.
A carpenter's pencil. So here you need a carpenter's pencil. This pencil will help you. This pencil will help you mark the lines that you need. Of course, with the help of the what? The tri-square. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, how do you know the measurement from there to there? How do you know the measurements from there to there? How do you mark out these measurements? Yes, Mapa.
By using a steel rule.
By using a steel rule. Are we together?
Yes.
So this tells us to say you need a rule here, a ruler. If you want, if you wish, you can call it a ruler. Are we together?
Yes.
Up to here, are we together?
Yes.
So, when you identify these tools, you are not only going to make, you are not only going to mark these pieces, because you also need to make this artifact that you are making. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this case, what tools do you need for you to make this type of a joint? Making tools, eh? Allow me to call them making tools. Of course, there are different types of making tools. They are called boring tools, they are cutting tools, they are also called braiding tools, all those. So, what tools do you need for you to make this type of a joint? So, to make it easy, class, what we are going to do is to identify the part that we are going to work on and identify the piece or the tool that we need to use. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So, for you to manage to cut from there to there, what kind of a tool do you need? What kind of a tool do you need for you to create this space at the end there, or to mark this opening motif? Yes, sir. A tenon saw. Very good. So here you need a tenon saw. Okay? Apart from a tenon saw, what tool do you need? Because when you cut this line there and there, you can't use a tenon to chip off this. What tool do you need for you to make this? Yes, Eugene.
A chisel.
A chisel. Are we together?
Yes.
And a chisel goes alongside with what? Speak up, everyone.
Mallet.
Very good. It goes along with a mallet. Okay, so you need a chisel and also a mallet. Are we done?
No, sir.
Not yet, not so.
Yes, sir.
What other tool do you need for you to make this type of a joint? Yes, there.
We also need the clamp.
A clamp. Very good. This clamp can be a G clamp or can even be a vice. Not so.
Yes,
But in simple terms, we shall simply say you need a clamp for you to hold. Okay. Are we done there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, let us look at this joint drawn here. When you look at this joint, where can you use this type of a joint? So, use of a what? A bridal joint. What are some of the uses of a bridal joint? Okay, so what are some of the uses of a bridal joint? Yes, Eugene.
In the making of the dough.
Making of a what?
The dough.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Making of the what? A dough. Are we together?
Yes.
So we need this type of a joint in dough making, doors. Are we together?
Yes.
Apart from this, why else would we use this type of a joint? Okay? So we are looking at pieces where there is another one standing vertically, then the other one coming in horizontally. Not so?
Yes.
Okay, so where can we use this? Yes, Moffat?
Frames.
Frames. Are we together? We can use this in frame construction. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, so from this, we are able to say, there are different types of bridal joints. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Because if we are looking at doors, we are looking at a situation where this piece is meeting there also.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
This is another type of a bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes,
sir.
Then we are looking at a situation where, allow me to wrap this part. Then we are looking at a situation where this piece is meeting this piece at a right angle there. This is another type of a bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So these are both bridal joints. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
But they have the other part that describes them better. So this type of a joint is what we call a T bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
A T bridal joint. And then this one is what we call a corner bridal joint or angle bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then we also have a mitered bridal joint. A mitered bridal joint is going to look like this. This one is going to move like this. Allow me to wrap this part. This one is going to move like this. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So, sorry, not like this, but it's going to move like this. Have you seen this?
Yes,
Okay. Then what will happen to these pins? They will change also the shape to accommodate the tenon inside there. So these also, they are going to change from there. Okay, have we seen what will happen?
Yes.
So this one also has a different name. This one changes from just a mare or corner bridal, it changes the name to a mitered bridal joint. So this is a T bridal. Are we together?
Yes.
Then this one is a what?
Corner.
A corner or what? Corner or angle bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then this one is a mitre. Remember the word mitre?
Yes.
The word mitre means what? 45, forming what? 90 degrees. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Mitre, 45, forming 90 degrees. Okay, so having looked at the three different types of bridal joints, and framing joints, and having looked at the tools needed to make and mark this type of a joint, we shall now do this practically. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
We have identified these tools and those tools there. Now we are going to make this type of a joint, the T bridal joint, or we can make this type of a joint, the corner or angle bridal joint. Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So we are going to get to our bench to make this type of a joint by starting with marking, of course. Okay, so these are the two pieces that I'm going to use. So with these two pieces, I know my pieces that this one is the one that will stand vertically, then this one is the one that is going to come horizontally to meet perpendicularly. Are we together?
Yes,
or
sir.
to meet at 90 degrees. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So, for me to know how far this should be go, I should know what is the width of this one. So in this case, I'll get my ruler. This is my ruler. I'll measure the distance from there to there. This gives me 55 millimeters. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So, it is the same 55 millimeters that I'm going to mark from the top going in downwards, so that when this comes there, it will fit without difficulties. Are we together, class?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, I'll mark my 55 degrees, millimeters. Okay. So when marking, put your pieces down to avoid making mistakes. So there I am. Again, I need to do the same there. So when I have this mark, I'll now get my tri-square. When I get my tri-square, I need to mark all around. Okay? So you get this piece, then mark there. Make sure when you're marking, the stock should be against the edge. Then I turn there, I need to mark all around there. Okay? Then I mark again there. Okay? Then I turn it like that. I need to make sure that my stock is against this. There shouldn't be any space here for me to mark a line that is going to be at 45 or at 90 degrees to the piece. Then I mark like that. I turn it again. Okay, so if my piece is square enough, when I'm marking all around, the lines should be meeting right there in the corner, all around meeting there. Then I do the same here. If you're not comfortable picking your pieces, carrying them in your hands, it's better you put your pieces down on the bench. If you are the kind that shakes, put your pieces down on the bench like this. Like that. And of course, like that. So now I'm satisfied that these are the lines that I've marked. If you check, I've marked all around. I've marked all around. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then from there, I now need to mark the part that has the open mortise and also the part that has the tenon. So my pieces are at 60 millimeters thickness. Okay, so I need to open my sliding, my marking gauge, and put it at 20 millimeters. So I'll loosen this one. The stock can freely move. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Don't mark from the piece. Now bring in the measurements with a ruler. When you bring in the measurements with a ruler, you're okay with that? Have you seen what I meant that put your pieces down?
Yes,
It's because how do I work with two hands? Okay, so you can put your piece down, then measure there. Okay? Then hold the stock so that it doesn't move. Are we together?
Yes.
So this is my 20 millimeters from the stock to the spar. Are we together?
Yes.
From the stock to the spar. When you fix it, get your ruler again to verify that you are right on point. Are we together?
Yes.
So when you do that, now you can go to the piece. When you go to the piece, remember when you're marking, mark away from your body because this can injure you if you mark towards your body. So you mark like this. This will give you a nice line. And when you're marking, make sure the stock is against the edge of the piece. Then you come there, you mark nicely like that. Is this difficult?
No, sir.
Very good. Then you turn and mark the other side. Like that. Like that. And of course, like that. If your lines are not visible enough, you can just get your pencil and mark there. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
You mark like that, because this has given you a groove where the pencil can pass. So you have made a simple groove there with a spar. Now you can mark so that these lines are visible enough. So this is my piece that is going to be the vertical piece. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
and I want this part to be removed, the outside part. So I'm going to mark my piece as piece what? Piece A. And I'll know that this is the vertical one. So this is my piece A. Which part am I removing? I'm removing the middle part. Hence, I'm going to put X to the part which I don't need. So I'll put like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
The reason I'm putting this X, which a part on which I'm going to remove, is very simple. So that even when I fall sick or I'm busy with some other things, someone will know that these lines is where I need to cut. But which part should I remove? The part that is the X. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then you come now to this piece that is going to come this part. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then you get your marking gauge. When you get your marking gauge, don't be in a hurry. You need to check whether the measurements still remain what you had set. So I'll come and mark again. Mark away from body. Mark away from the body. I'll also mark right on top there. Have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay? Then I'll mark this other part. Like that. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then I'll turn it like this. Don't adjust this one. I'll turn and mark like that. Then I'll come there and mark like that. And then I'll mark the other part like that. So if your eyes are not good enough, you can still mark and outline to show that this is where I'm going to cut. Okay. So I've done this one. Don't forget to show that this is the part which you are going to cut. So in this case here I'm cutting the middle part, then that means the part that I'm removing here is what? The outside part. So I'll put X's there so that when I'm cutting, I don't move to where the part is needed. Like that. Okay, so after marking my two pieces, I know this is my piece. This is my piece A, and then this is my piece B, like that. Meaning, this is the part that is going to be like this. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then, I'm done marking. Any questions on marking out? Okay, then we are going to go to the vise where we are going to clamp these pieces and make this type of a joint. So we are going to move. So when you are satisfied to say, I've reached where I'm supposed to end, you can undo your work. But before you cut out the shoulders, for you to avoid wasting your time, cut even this one because you're cutting the same one. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So you need again to tie this one nicely and firmly. Okay? As usual, you start with a few back strokes to get the correct position. Okay, so when you're done cutting and you're okay there, you can undo your work. And then cut the shoulders. Okay, so after cutting these lines with your saw, here you've marked the middle part. That means you are going to chip off this middle part with a chisel and of course a mallet. Then this part, where you've marked XX, you are going to remove these outer parts. with a saw, then you are good to go. So we shall now remove these other parts with, of course, the mallet and a chisel. Okay, so now you need to cut off this shoulder here. So this comes out on its own if you are very accurate. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So when you're done with this part, you can undo your piece. Okay, like that. Then, if you are very accurate enough, the angle between the cheek and the shoulder should be at 90 degrees. Otherwise, if you have a sloping one, it will give you problems. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then you turn it like that. You start with back strokes, of course. When you're okay there, you can now start cutting. When you're cutting, don't forget to check whether you're in the correct position. Okay, so when it's done, it will just come out without difficulties. There you are. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you can undo your work. Okay, so you have seen this part. This is the tenon part. Don't tamper with it until you cut the other part. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then you can pick the other piece to cut in the opening mortise. So pick this part and cut this other middle part. In this case, there's a lot of work with a chisel. Okay, so in order to avoid the breaking beyond the line, you need to cut here with your chisel so that when you are cutting, it doesn't go beyond. So that when it chips only up to that line. So there you are. You've seen what has happened?
Yes, sir.
It only goes up to that line. Use this type of a joint. So, use of a bridal joint. What are some of the uses of a bridal joint? Okay, so what are some of the uses of a bridal joint? Yes, Eugene?
In the making of the dough.
Making of a
Dough.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Making of the a dough. Are we together?
Yes.
So we need this type of a joint in dough making, doughs. Are we together?
Yes.
Apart from this, why else would we use this type of a joint? Okay? So we are looking at pieces where there is another one standing vertically, then the other one coming in horizontally. Not so?
Yes.
Okay, so where can we use this? Yes, Moffat?
Frames.
Frames. Are we together? We can use this in frame construction. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, so from this, we are able to say there are different types of bridal joints. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Because if we are looking at doors, we are looking at a situation where this piece is meeting there, not so.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
This is another type of a bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes.
Then we are looking at a situation where, allow me to wrap this part. Then we are looking at a situation where this piece is meeting this piece at a right angle there. This is another type of a bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So these are both bridal joints. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
But they have the other part that describes them better. So this type of a joint is what we call a T bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
A T bridal joint. And then this one is what we call a corner bridal joint or angle bridal joint. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Then we also have a mitered bridal joint. A mitered bridal joint is going. So even when this piece is cut from Lusaka, then this piece is cut from Chipata. This piece cut by different people, when brought together, they should be able to fit without difficulties. So these pieces should be able to fit like this. They shouldn't be too tight. They shouldn't be too loose. This is to allow for you to put in glue, for you to make it a permanent joint. Are we together, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how the piece should fit without difficulties. Whenever you put glue, it should hold without difficulties. So you have seen, eh?
Yes, sir.
So it should be able to form a 90 degrees angle. In this case, you have this piece that can form the other end of the what? The arm of the chair, and this should be your leg.
Yes, sir.
Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So class, we have come to the end of today's lesson. From me, Kasongo Enoch, and on behalf of the studio crew, we say bye for now until we meet again.